Peace, how you guys doing? It's your boy Free Play, and we're back with another video. Today is tech day or repair day at the studio. I have something that came in the mail today from MPC Stuff, which is where I get most of my parts from whenever I want to work on my 2000 XL. And what I have in today is the note variation slider. This hasn't been working for some time. I did purchase one a while back when I first got the MPC gifted to me, and it worked intermittently. So I think it was soldered right or something happened there. Shout out to my boy Rivers, who put in the CF card reader, the compact flash card reader, and the no variation slider. I appreciate you, my boy. But for some reason, the no variation slider never really worked. And the reason why this is a useful part of the MPC 2000 XL is because it allows you to kind of like trim your samples faster when you're in the trim window or in the trim part of the menu. Instead of using the jog wheel and just spinning it like crazy, you could use the note variation slider with the shift key in order to move through the sample a lot faster. So because I've been working on this so heavily, I figured, you know what, it's a $20 part. Let me get it so that I could repair it and make my workflow even more convenient. Recently, my cousin Ivan helped me replace the down tack switch and the F5 button. So those two were not working, or I had to keep pressing them. And again, like I mentioned in my previous video on is it worth it getting one of these samplers in 2024, these are some of the things that come up, you know, like parts start going out. The pad sensors went out when I first got the unit. I replaced that myself pretty early on. But you know, these units are approaching like 30+ year mark, so things are gonna start, you know, failing, and you have to be willing to repair it. So I got this for free, but in reality, I put in quite you know, a substantial amount of money into repairing it and get it back to like, you know, where I could work on it every day. So I'm gonna get in there. My cousin is on the way over. He's gonna solder for me. I'm okay at soldering, as if you guys saw my guitar work, my guitar tech video, I soldered a capacitor in there. So I just feel a little bit more comfortable with letting Ivan do it because he's a auto mechanic and he does soldering a lot more often than I do. So we're gonna get into the MPC. I'm gonna do one of those sped up videos where I open it up. He's gonna solder. I'm gonna probably show you guys what the inside looks like and what you guys should be looking out for. Maybe I'll do a voiceover while I'm taking it apart, because I've opened it up a few times, so I kind of know what order to do things. Whereas when I was doing things a little bit more like freestyling it, I wish I would have seen or heard somebody tell me in what order to do it. Or maybe I just should have looked up a video, but I didn't. I just went in there. I also have some of this deoxit, which is a contact cleaner. I have some of the outputs on my 8-outs that are a little scratchy, so I'm gonna spray some of that in the output and on the 8-out board. Hopefully I don't mess it up. And also some of it on the variation slider, you know, maybe that'll help make it more functional. So anyways, enough of that. I'm gonna jump into taking it apart. Ivan's on his way, he's almost here. We're gonna cook some wings, have some beers, and get inside this 2000 XL, and hopefully by the end of this video, I have my no variation slider working. All right, peace. All right, so we're gonna take apart the MPC, make sure it's disconnected, obviously, from electrical power. And you wanna start at the bottom because there is a cable that you have to remove that's under the 8-output expander, if your MPC has that, before you start working on the top, which is where the variation slider is. I notice here that my compact flash reader is a little bit too in from when my boy Rivers installed this, so I'm gonna try to do a little side meshing here and push back this bracket. And I just wasted my time because it doesn't fit in that, and I'm gonna just put that thing back. Anyway, so you wanna take out the 8-output expander and get under there because there's a ribbon cable that you have to remove in order to give some slack to the top PCB board. So I'm gonna carefully remove all these screws And I'm gonna use this plastic tool that I got when I was working on my MacBook, and this metal thing, and I'm gonna just remove the side screws. I'm gonna put a screw back on the 8 output expander just to make sure that it's secure when I flip it over, and just get to the main board right here. I'm gonna take off the connection for the pad sensors and just make room for Ivan to get to work on the variation slider. And that's about it. All right, so we're here inside the MPC 2000 XL. I already took it apart, and this is the no variation slider that's messed up. I have the new one here from MPC Stuff. It cost me like around 20 bucks plus shipping, and we're gonna get behind the board and we're gonna replace it. So I was right, I did replace this before with rivers, because I see that these points right here are not fresh from the factory, these soldered points. There's 2 on the bottom and 3 at the top. So we're gonna desolder those and, you know, maybe put some deoxit spray on there to see if there's anything not making contact. But the board looks pretty clean, so I don't see any contaminants on there, so let's get it. So putting it back together is pretty much everything back in the same order. You want to pull back that ribbon cable, connect it. I had only one screw connecting back the 8 output expander. Once that cable's secure and pulled a little bit tighter, I'm gonna go flip this thing around again, connect the PCB board to the top board. First things first, I'm gonna put the pad sensor in, because that could be a little tricky to put in once the PCB board is secured. And I'm gonna just place all my screws and connect the PCB board to the top panel, and put my pads on there. Secure the back before I flip it over. Be careful when putting this top part on, because if you move it around too much, you could clip off some of the buttons, and that happened to me before. That's why 2 of my buttons are a different color, the top tempo and the stop button, because when I was taking this apart the very first time that I put my pad sensors, I messed up a couple of the buttons got clipped off because I didn't secure the casing right. Here I'm using the deoxit. Like I said, I have some scratchy outputs, and hopefully this makes them better. And now I'm gonna get to putting the PCB board on the chassis and back in there. I haven't really been using the 8 outputs because I only have a 2-channel interface, and I don't have a nice mixer right now. So this is something that I hope to be working in the future. But if this doesn't fix it right now, I'm not too worried about it. I'm more concerned about the slider. So yeah, I think I got everything. Let's turn the MPC back on. Let's see if everything is still working as it should. All right, we're back. So I have some bad news, and unfortunately, the install for the variation slider, this is the old one, it didn't work. So when we opened it up, and Ivan desoldered the variation slider, he noticed that there were 2 broken traces on the bottom. So I still made him install the new one. He told me it wasn't gonna work, but I was like, you know what, whatever, let's just throw it in there, see if by any luck we'll get it working, which I kind of knew it wasn't gonna work. Basically, when you have a broken trace, it's the part that connects the connector to the board. So it's usually like a copper wiring that's supposed to make a connection to the board and send the signal. And there was a piece of it that just wasn't, that was kind of like clipped off. That could happen if you solder too hot, or maybe when it was reinstalled the first time, or just aging, you know. I don't have the proper tools with me, because I've just been using like a cheap soldering iron, and that could have been it too, you know. Maybe my iron was too hot, and I don't have the proper kit, so I need some flux, and which is like a liquid to help clean the board of contaminants, and maybe some copper wiring to repair the trace. I went in on the Facebook group for the MPC 2000 and the 2000 XL, which I recommend you guys join. I'm on the Insonic group, and I'm on the AKAI MPC 2000 group, and they told me that it should be an easy repair, like to repair the trace. I put the MPC back together, and it's working fine, again, like it has been throughout this whole time. Without the variation slider, it was something that I was trying to do more to like help my workflow be faster, but unfortunately, you know, it wasn't a successful repair. I hope to get back in there, you know, do more research on replacing these 2 broken traces, and maybe I'll do it myself. You know, I was also considering sending it to Canamit, who's like known in the MPC community to repair these machines. He's probably do a way better or faster job than me. Maybe I could just send him the board. And then my third and final option, which I'm trying to avoid, is buying the PCB board on MPC stuff. So it's like $219 plus tax and shipping. Is gonna hit for quite a buck, and I really can't afford that right now. It's not worth the convenience. Maybe, you know, later on down the road, if I don't see myself repairing it, which I've kind of been having fun doing these electronics, I just don't have a proper like soldering kit. I don't have like the potentiometer, the thing to read the electrical signal, or alligator clips, you know. Other people were suggesting like jumping to the next solder joint, which again, I don't want to do, because I've seen on Canamit's page that you could send the PCB board into like panic mode if you do something like off there. So I'm a little bit weary now that those traces are broken. You know, the tack switches was easy. We just had to desolder and solder that back on. But this, we hit kind of like a little bit of a roadblock when we saw those broken traces. But anyway, I tested out the MPC. It's still working like it was before I opened it up. When I was putting it back together, I noticed that I was left over with 2 extra screws. So I didn't notice, like, I'm pretty sure like I put everything back, but it happens. I don't see or hear anything loose in there. But anyways, yeah, just you know, be careful opening up your machines. This comes with the territory of having an old sampler. And even the ASR has a missing character that I'm starting to worry about, because it's a sign of either a cold solder joint or the screen giving out. And these things, the screen, I'm starting to see the person that's making them is not cheap. So like I mentioned before, you know, having a vintage sampler in 2024 is definitely not like the cheapest way to go about music production, but it's the way that I love making music. So I know already that I'm gonna have to keep investing into repairs and learn myself how to repair things so that I could avoid bench hours and having to buy expensive parts. You know, maybe I could have them made, or, you know, educate myself into it so that I could save some money while doing it. But anyways, I won't take up too much more of you guys' time. I'm gonna have some more videos of me, you know, working on music. I know some of the tech stuff sometimes bores you guys, but I just wanted you guys to see the reality of what it comes with, you know, owning these vintage samplers. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, keep showing love, keep rocking with me, and I appreciate you guys. It's your boy Free Play. I'm out. Peace.